Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about Ime Udoka and the situation. I just have some thoughts on some of the conversations I feel are important that are not being really had, but I feel should be had, although they are being had in some places and spaces. I don't really want to talk about the cheating only because I don't know if he actually cheated. And what I mean by that is I don't know what the agreement of their relationship was. They spent a lot of time apart. She's been on record stating that sometimes she is a part-time single mother. He traveled a lot. He played in Spain for some time. So I don't know what the agreement of their relationship was to speak on it as far as whether or not he cheated. What I do want to talk about is the workplace dynamic, and then just a little bit about self-sabotage and the impact that decisions have on your legacy. And so I'm going to start there. I find it very unfortunate that his legacy is being greatly impacted by the decisions that he's made. And not just his legacy in the league, but the view his son will have on him moving forward. And I know everybody's like, oh my God, how'd you cheat on Nia Long and things like that. We all know beautiful, intelligent women and men get cheated on by their partners all the time, because cheating is a choice, but most of the time it has nothing to do with the relationship they're in, and it has to do with internal factors, internal needs or desires that they have. So I don't feel like him being with Nia has anything to do with it. But I understand Nia's like everyone's childhood crush. Lord knows I had Nia Long's haircut and the hair in Love Jones. Like I got my hair layered like that after I saw Love Jones. So like I get it. She's part of our past, right? So she's revered. She's never been in any drama or anything like that. And that's another thing. When you are in partnership, I should say, and your partner behaves in a way that is controversial or detrimental to the reputation of both parties, that's another thing that's unfortunate. You know, she's affiliated with him, she's associated with him, and although she didn't do it, she didn't have anything to do with it, and everyone has been very supportive of her, she still has to deal with the decisions that he's made. So it's so important that you make decisions for yourself, and especially when you've decided to have a family, that protects your family. And I find it sad that that's not what happened in this case. Also, his son, like my heart breaks for his son, because nowadays everything is on social media. You can't get away from it. It's been almost 2 weeks and this topic continues to be spoken about, including by myself. You know, I'm talking about it. But kids can be cruel. Kids can be very cruel. I heard that Nia went back to LA, and that's good, because to be in Boston and, you know, have to deal with the decisions that your dad made is a lot for a child going through, you know, puberty, and just at his age. I don't know if he's going through puberty, but at his age, I think he is. I think he's 11 or 12 or something like that. I don't know. I think his son is at the age where, you know, he's going through his own changes within himself, and to have to deal with the public perception and what they thought or think, or what other parents have told children that they're going to tell him. That's a lot for a child to take on. So, you know, Nia has always been known to be a mama bear. So she was like, I'm gonna get my son out of here. We're going back to LA. Another thing, though, I really wanted to get into is self-sabotage. Sometimes we want things, but we don't feel like we really deserve them. And in some ways, we kind of destroy them. We sabotage the situation. I don't know if that's the case with him, but it kind of seems like it to me. And I say that because, like, he wasn't a player. He wasn't like your Kobe, who was drafted right out of high school, or, you know, your Michael Jordans or your LeBron James. Like, he's not considered to be like one of NBA's biggest superstars. I don't even think he was drafted. And his career ended pretty early. He played overseas for some time. And then he started as an assistant coach and got the opportunity that he had with the Celtics to be the head coach. And with all of that, within a year, it's all gone, and more information is constantly coming out. Like now it's one staffer, it was consensual, but there were some inappropriate conversations or comments that he made prior to their relationship, which I'm going to get into that. You have that, and then you have someone else who is I guess she was the wife of one of the minority owners of the league or the Celtics. And then that's problematic too. That says a lot about him. And I'm going to get into liability and things like that when I hit my third point, or my, what else I want to talk about. And so you have someone who put everything at risk. Like, it's like you didn't just have an affair on your fiance, right? If the agreement was for them to be monogamous, you didn't just, hurt your son by showing up in a poor light. Although we're all human and make mistakes, still this will impact his son, right? You destroyed your whole career, your name and your legacy and everything that was with it. You got a chance to be a head coach of one of the most well-known NBA teams, and within 1 year, all of that is squandered. And the choices that were made makes me think like this was, maybe I don't know if I deserve this. Maybe I can't handle this. I can't believe this has happened to me. And that happens to people. And what I want to say to that is that when you are making transitions in life, praying for things, manifesting things, asking for certain things, when you're doing that, also please always ask for the tools, the guidance, and the wisdom for what it is that you're asking for, right? And what you're working for, so that you know that it's okay for you to be here. You could be guided. Ask for wise counsel. Seek out wise counsel. Seek out people who can really pour into you and support you. Speaking of counsel and mentorship, I think that he would have benefited from not only mentorship as a man, but mentorship as someone transitioning roles. I have worked where I've done like organizational behavior consulting and things like that for departments in the hospital. And sometimes working on transitioning a person from one position to the next position can be really challenging, because you're used to this position. This is your comfort zone. To become a leader over that department, or a leader in that area, or, can be challenging for some people. And sometimes people feel like they can still operate in the old way, or they want to operate in the old way or in their old ways, because they still want to be part of the team and camaraderie. Leadership is a lonely it's a lonely place to be. You have to put yourself in a place where you can make difficult decisions, where you can have difficult conversations, and where you have to uphold the policies and procedures of that organization more than your average person, because now you have a position, and that's the position he was in. I know a lot of people are upset that the young lady isn't receiving any punishment that we are aware of, but there's a power play here. If they were to punish her and it comes out that he persuaded her or threatened her or harassed her in any kind of way, that's a huge suit for the Celtics. That's a huge liability. That's part of the reason why I'm guessing he got a year, because that's a huge liability for them, because she can sue the Celtics and him. They usually go for the big money, and the big money is the Boston Celtics. The big money wouldn't be him. And so I think that's probably why they rolled things out the way that they did, and why they did things the way that they did. And now you have information coming out saying that there was more than one woman, and one of them was one of the owners or minority owners' wives. That says a lot about you. That's number one. I'll get back to that. But getting back to my original thought, they're saying that she said he had inappropriate conversations with her prior to their relationship. So if his position is a position of power or over hers where he can influence her having a job or not, then it becomes harassment, quid pro quo. Like, there's a lot that comes with that, and the company does have to be careful, especially with Me Too. So yes, I think they were trying to cover things up, saying, hey, let's get a consent, saying you guys both consented to this relationship. But now we have more information saying that there were inappropriate conversations prior to. So that could mean he possibly harassed her into having a relationship, or she felt like she would lose her job or would get in trouble for having a relationship with him. And, that gets to be a lot. And so the Boston Celtics, they are a business first, and they have to take care of business. And I think that is something, when you are moving up in corporations and things like that, understand that it stops being personal, even if it is, right? This is really a HR, and on a lot of levels, a personal situation. But if there's anything that could lead to a huge lawsuit, they have to handle it as such. And that's just what it is, no one's asking, why did he do what he did? Why were you willing to risk all of this? Did you even think about the risk of your choices that you were making? No one's asking those questions. They are concerned about, why isn't she being punished? She's not being punished because there is a power dynamic there, and they are trying to, most likely, allegedly, prevent themselves from receiving a huge lawsuit, which is why he has to go. He may have to go, allegedly, because that's a huge liability. He has become a liability. They probably were trying to weigh how much of a liability versus the asset he was. And the more and more that comes out, it's starting to look like he is less of an asset and more of a liability. There are people who have lost their own companies for sexual harassment and things like that, inappropriate behavior, because it's against the policy. Once it comes down to board members, shareholders, things like that, that's a whole nother ball game. You can't play the same games you played as a player when we're dealing with the overall team and the board and lawsuits and liability. If he was still a player, they probably could just suspend him. They could fine him. They probably could send him somewhere else. But he's no one's boss. He's not in a position of authority. But as a head coach, he's in a position of authority. That's a different game. So it's important to get proper mentorship and guidance and understanding when you are transitioning roles. So then we also have the fact that he possibly, allegedly, had an affair with one of the minority owners' wives. And so basically, this is what he is communicating, which does not show or display someone of integrity, a proper leadership, of coach status or professionalism, and again, a lack of discipline. Is you chose someone's wife within a team. So you're saying, I am not a team player. I am not loyal. I am not disciplined. I have no respect. I am not a role model. That's what these behaviors are conveying. I've said before, communication isn't just what you say with your mouth. Communication has to do with your actions. It has to do with your body language. It has to do with so much more than just what you say verbally. His actions are saying that he, in fact, isn't a good leader. Although he did a great job coaching the team, he is showing that he doesn't have great leadership skills. And again, that he is a liability. He's not disciplined enough to control his urges or who he deals with in the workforce. He's making poor decisions. Excuse me. He is, basically a little reckless. And that is problematic. And it is costing him everything. And the fact that you disrespect one of the owners to that capacity is a problem. Whether she's part of it or not, we're going to separate her, because the point I'm trying to make is be mindful about the decisions that you make for you in your life. Okay, that's really where I'm going with this, because there are different rules for different people, and there are written rules and unwritten rules. And organizational behavior and culture is something that you really have to know and understand as you navigate through those waters. And if you don't understand the culture and what applies to you and what doesn't, it could be problematic. Just like you have these people who go to Christmas parties, you can have two people that get really, really drunk and really, really inappropriate, and it's funny. But you have other people who will do the same, and they're called into the office, or then when they do something wrong, their misconduct is brought up, right? So understand the law of the land. That's important. So those really are my take-home messages. My hearts and prayers goes out to Nia and her son, both of her sons actually, because that's a father figure, although the other father is active. Ime is still a father figure to her first son. My hearts and prayers goes out to them. I'm wishing them well. You guys let me know your thoughts on this situation. I really just feel like he really made a poor decision. I would want to know what was the thought process behind it. Oh, that's another thing. I had a friend who told me that this isn't anything new for him. As far as like infidelity and things like that, I was told this isn't new behavior for him. So there may be some other things happening. We don't know because we don't know them. But to someone who is watching this, or you're moving up in corporate America or for a big company, get to know the law of the land. Get yourself a good coach or mentor and really work on accepting or knowing that you deserve what it is that you are asking for and working for, and get the tools, the knowledge, the wisdom to operate in those places and spaces and at that level so that you don't harm yourself. Okay? All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. I'll see you soon. And please don't forget to love yourself for who you are. Take care. Bye-bye.